All right, so these are the fundamentals that we have for today, with just unemployment claim, which is medium impact news coming up by 1:30 a.m. today. Yesterday, when we did analysis, I was like, there's no really good entry for gold yesterday, although we have a good entry today. There's already an entry to buy up to this point, and then there will be an entry to sell today. By the grace of God, all things, work well. But another thing I was saying we should pay very close attention to was the updates from the macroeconomic to see if there's going to be any big news that would maybe disrupt the current flow that we have now, or give us a strong fundamental to sell. I have not seen that news. That is why I didn't come back yesterday to maybe post any signal. There was no really strong fundamentals, and we could see that, as predicted, we said if the peak stock keeps going on, it is most likely that the dollar would keep finding, keep getting its weakness, keep getting hit, and gold will keep soaring to the sky. So there was a very big rally on gold yesterday. This is what we had yesterday. And the same thing for, I think, every other asset too. Let's quickly check the XY to see how weak that one was too. That one was also weak yesterday, as you can see. Not as much as gold was weak anyway, but it was also weak yesterday, and the trend has been bearish. However, this is not something that is going to stay for long, because I did not see, like I said, the P stock is fragile. They've not pronounced anything yet that they have an earthquake. All we see is, you know, we are not going to do this, even if we agree this, it will take time and stuff like that. Those are the things that are been in play. So that means that we might still be able to buy the US dollar, right? With the hope that more fundamentals keep coming in to favor our direction. Although we are not the cause of the war, however, we want it to stop too, but we also have to make money off it. And so some people may say that, why do you want the war to keep falling on so you can sell good? I didn't sell good because I also want the war to subside and everything goes, and uh, goes to just keep going bullish. But the truth is, gold still has a lot to do down. If you come to the daily time frame, for instance, you'll find out that market still has a lot of liquidity in this area to clear. If you go to the weekly, you would also agree with me in the weekly time frame, for instance. So my projection has been somewhere around this place to find a balance, somewhere around there to find a balance of from this swing here down to this point. I believe this low will be taken out. And if you check this daily time frame, you also find that you could get some form of steady base order block at around this place, this level here. I think there's one here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you see this place here. So I think the market will still find a balance there. Truly, from let's maybe when we get to good analysis, we'll dive in deeper. So for Euro USD, which is much more closer to this market, we intended to sell from this point, and it's still there. We hope that markets will probably sweep liquidity above this session. We really want to this gap you see here is a valid resistance. It's a valid resistance because structure were broken down, right? You can count one, you can count I think you can count one, you can count two. Yeah. This major swing was broken down here. So it's a valid resistance. So we might even have to now think twice. Like if you take this and you measure from here to here, oh, okay, I think the reason why I didn't measure from there to there, let me hold on. When I check from year to year, there was maybe a reason why I did this yesterday. I can't remember. Okay, I think the reason was because I didn't see this. Okay. So from year to year, You see, these are impulse move. To have a true what do they call it, a true high or a true retracement, true pullback, this last impulse move must have been taken out. It wasn't taken out. This is a bullish candle, and you see all of them were formed around this level. But my concern is this last candle here. If you check well, it acted more like a bearish candle and a bullish candle at the same time. Now, a bullish candle is supposed to start. If you notice that, yes, it started from a low and then closed above here. So this is a bullish candle because the opening price, right? The closing price was higher than the opening price. However, if you notice, this was where market was supposed to enter. So I believe this candle would have been a form of I think a Sunday candle. Like there's a Sunday candle between this. If you check now, this is Friday, this is Monday. So there was a gap. So there's a Sunday candle between it that probably closed below this level. So it makes this place confusing. That is why um I was thinking that we might have to think twice if we want to take high from here rather than taking it from here. You understand? But taking it from here, you will see the market is already reacting to this level, 0.618, and that is where we currently that's where we are there now currently. Now, if you want to take it from here, that will be market saying 0.786, which is still not a bad one at all. Right? Still not a bad one. It's still something that we can look at and say, okay, it's a good one. We can decide to say, let's take a sell from here because it's a key Fibonacci level. Equilibrium 618, 78786. They are good levels. So now we can now come down to the smaller time frame and start looking for a confirmation from here. So currently we have double tops, which we believe are areas where we have enough sellers or enough buyers. You understand? There are areas where for here now we can say that this is area. So this level would market will probably price in high a little bit. And if you come down to the time zone, this is the New York time zone. Hopefully, it will be taken out. Um, this is the Tokyo time zone. Hopefully, it will be taken out during the New York session today. So this is Tokyo. This is London currently forming. London probably taking out the Tokyo low and then going up to take out the Tokyo, which is the Asian high. So we have double tops here. So this double top now we find our point of interest to be around here. So look at this market, gap here is will I say that this market gap is not it's not a bad one. It's a very huge gap that has enough power like resistance to sweep market, and that's why you are seeing this currently. But it has also been mitigated in the past. Another thing that you have to look at here is that we have a mitigation block here that has probably not been mitigated. So if you take this down a bit, you might be looking at a level where we have our point of interest here. And that's where we intend to sell Euro USD from. That is why Euro USD sell is projected from there. I think we had this um, chart from yesterday. So give or take, think it is not a bad place to. And then this stop loss too will help us cover in case market comes to sweep this high. It will help us cover for that. Or you can reduce your stop loss, right, to maybe somewhere around here, a little bit above this high. If it's taken out, you can have another entry if this high is now taken out so as well. Those are two things that you can do for this trade. So I'll post this in the group for Euro USD. And then for GU, GU2 should be seeing some form of TP1 hits. All right. This is already TP1 hits, half of this. And we are looking at TP2 at this level. So for GU, because dollar might be likely strong now, you know, you the point, the idea for GU is that we are buying. It's still bullish. There's no need to actually sell. You understand? So you might want to take out your profits or break even or something. So for GU, because they have conflicting interests, I know GU is very, highly correlated with Euro USD. They tend to go the same direction, move the same way. So I would just say this is the point where one has to be like really careful. I'm not going to say I want to sell GU now because um, everything I see here, it's a bullish market, a break of structure, multiple break of structure to the upside and a rally, and then this continuing up to this point. However, we had something like an a low here, which has also been kind of, it has been taken out. If you look maybe in the smaller time frame, because in the bigger time frame, if you measure from here to this point here, say this is the high, for instance, right? This didn't get to 38.2, even if though it maybe swept the last impulse candle or something, it didn't get to. So that is why it is not really something. So this is the major low, this one. So with this low fail, or it will just come sweep or break this structure again, that will now give us more confidence to keep buying. And then as it's breaking this structure, it will be hitting our TP, it will be hitting our TP2. So that is the idea for GU. Then moving to gold now. So for gold, I said for me, I was looking out for, let me see, an entry above this level. So market is currently consolidating. Right. So yesterday we already talked about gold and we were looking to sell from here, but market has gone and has grabbed liquidity. So some people have already seen this rally now as an opportunity to start buying. But for me, I would say market is still bearish. If you look very well, which side can you see that market is this bearish or bullish? Market is still bearish. All these things you are seeing might be a retracement, right? It might be a retracement, and for people that are buying too, they may be right and they may be. In fact, there is no right and wrong in this market. It's just where market decides to go. So if you check very well, like using normal, technical analysis and the things that we know how to do best, this is like a level one from here to this point here. Price swept that level, gave you level two, and this might be level three. But the thing about this level three is that it is breaking AI. Usually, level three is usually not the longest. Um, is not the long. It's usually not the longest. It's usually not the highest level. It's usually not the level that will say it's the major level. So who knows? This might be our first level. Then maybe this is actually our second, then we'll have, which is breaking this, and we'll have one more before we go to the downside. That's another thing. So why that is also playing out, I think these two might be correct, and then you have this before the downside. So if once you have three legs, whether it breaks or not, usually it means price might have done whatever it needs to do. And if you look very well, there are no liquidity area. I'm looking at this place. I've not seen a like I'm not seeing market coming to reclaim any level here before it to make way to the downside. So all I see here is that market will probably play around this level for a while and eventually break this low. And another thing you also have to consider is that even when market wants to make some kind of very strong move sometimes, market may not even give us a hint. That is another thing. If you check, let's go to where markets made very strong move like in the past. So if you come to this level now, you'll find out that when markets wanted to make this move, right after the first leg, right, market made second and the market made third. Like if you notice, they all broke above. There was break of structure above, and market still what swipe to the downside without coming to sweep any level. They all this break of structure, this is from here, for instance, right? So this place was first high from here, right, down to this level again, made another high. Yeah, market made another high here, and market made this will be the major high because this is not a, if you take from here to here, this might not account for a strong um, pullback or retracement. So one, two, three. All you can see here is market breaking structures to the upside, and then still did this. So that's why I'm saying that some technical analysis is about looking at what has happened in the past patterns, and then looking at the future and seeing if it will repeat itself. That's the primary definition of all technical analysis. All technical analysis is something that has happened in the past. So technically, right, we are saying that if price has done one, two, three, this might be the end. And if anybody has good money, maybe like $1,000, we can start selling good with like 0.01 and leave it, at least leave it till maybe the end of this month or middle of this month down to this point here. You understand? You may see a good return on your investment. From that point down to around 38 or 35 will be close to 4,000. Then you see from this point here. So if you start selling from this point here, that's about 4,400 and that's about $400 in like maybe you may make this in like the next 2 weeks or the next 3 weeks. That was a lot of money for a good return on investment for not taking so much risk. You understand? $1,000 you end up risking like 2,000 pips to make like 4,000 plus pips. That's how big people trade. Oh. It's just that they use big capital. So somebody else is using maybe $10,000 and using 0.1. You understand? So get $4,000 at the end of that. That's like 40% you understand. So that is what I'm looking at. So let's go to the smaller time frame. Since we've already established that gold is somehow bullish, sorry, bearish, we want to look for a place where we sell. So this morning I already took an entry here which is still currently running, right? I took an entry here first and I took another entry here, right? So this is currently running at, let me see, I think 70, okay, 100 and something pips. That's about 100 and something dollar. So I'm looking at taking my TP at this level. So 15 minutes, if you look very well, price has made different gaps at the but the one we take the one that agrees with our confluence, the ones that aligns with a discount level. You understand? As ICT traders, smart money traders, even as market people, business people, you always want to look for the opportunity to sell something cheap. I'm sorry, to sell something more expensive and buy something cheap. That's the idea. If you take this approach to trading, you would most likely be profitable. There is patience. The truth about being patient is sometimes market can just go. You want to sell something at one particular rate, but market can just go bearish and you even sell at even a worse rate, thereby you lose money. So those things happen. But the thing about traders is that you have an option because you are not holding the physical good. You are not scared that, oh, if you are not selling for me and you lose money, your money will still be intact with you, right? That's your $200, $500, $1,000 in your account will still be there. Nothing will happen to it. So there is no need to rush. So you have an option, right? So even if market goes before it gets to where you intend to sell from. So in other words, right, if we intend to sell gold from this level where we identify as our discount level. Yeah, this is one. Some people want to join there, but why I'm looking at this level is that this level one first, there's another block, right? There is a down close candle that agrees with a breaker, another block two, and somewhat a fair value gap at around here. Other block breaker, fair value gap at around there. So all these things coming together just gives us, some form of confluence, right? Agreements that premium level agreements, other block, fair value gap, level that most time markets will go and reclaim liquidity to foil the race. So looking at what we have, so let's put a sell limit at this place and a stop loss above this level. So a short position will be from here. So I would take my short position from here. And my reason is because I do not see any reason why I should take from here. One, I would have taken from here, but here tried, it failed. You know why it failed? Because it is not the level where a lot of sellers are looking to sell their gold right now. They want to sell it when it is more expensive. So price will push. So that is what actually push price up and down. Not all these algorithms that a lot of people believe. It is where people actually want to sell from, where want to buy from. A lot of sellers will agree to sell from here than to sell from here. So it means price will go up there. It needs more buyers. It will wait for more buyers. Doesn't mind consolidating for the rest of today around there. Keep consolidating. It won't move until it gets enough, you know, enough buyers. That is price pushing itself up to that place. That's getting enough buyers. So when there are enough buyers, you just see it sell and to sell massively. So um so our risk on this trade is about 200 and 218 pips or two, let's make it 250. My reason is because there is a point of interest above this place, and this place, if you look very well, this place also happens to be Asian high. Asian high. So there can be a manipulation down to this point so that sellers will have a better, more even more expensive place to sell from. And then you see this line that I do here, this particular line. This line happens to be a point of interest from, I think from, I can't remember the date, but it happens to be, there's a very good standing order block, I think on the daily time frame that starts from this price, which is 4306. So, but 4300 is a psychological number, has pushed price down. That is going back to that area. So let's hope that this works, right? Let's hope that this works. So we'll sell. It's better since we are looking at price even coming to sweep this place. It is not okay. We now come and say we sell from here. So let's sell a little bit above the 0.618. When we use our Fibonacci, we don't just look at the Fibonacci alone. We also look at other things structurally that also agrees closely with it. Understand? So that is the most closest level to the Fibonacci. This level here. So we'll sell from here. So I'll be putting this one. So I just closed my position for the sell at 100 and oh, it dropped. So it was around 150 pips, but I just closed at 120, 120, 130 pips actually. I just closed at 130 pips. I'll post that in the group now. And then looking at this now, we can now say we would have at least when we enter 0.1 here, we'll have enough here to hold for enough what's it called liquidity to hold our stop loss to this level here. So you check your account now. If you have $500 in your account, you should not be using 0.1, right? That will be you risking almost 50% of the account. But if you can do it, it depends on your risk appetite. If you can do it, there's no problem. But I mean, I don't really believe in stop loss and TP and all that. Like, using stop loss and that is good, right? But what is most important is knowing what you are risking per trade. In fact, not once that is not in place, whether you are using stop loss or not using stop loss, you are just maybe fooling yourself. You understand? Because not knowing what you are risking per trade is what, and the MT5 now, MT4, they are designed in such a way that once you want to set the stop loss, you see the amount there that you are risking in case price comes there to hit the that line. you will see the exact amount you are risking. So that's the idea here. So you understand. So while we are waiting, let's know that from this point to this point, if you use 0.01, you'll be risking about $24. If you use zero point 0.1, you'll be risking about $240. While if you use one standard lot, you'll be risking $2,400. So you pick your poison and know the one that you can survive. Now our TP will be looking out for where we have, first this will be our second TP, right? This will be our second TP. This place here will be our second TP. Our first TP could be somewhere around there. But let's see how far. So here we have, up close candles. So you see this two candle, this one and two. Market m- may, let me just say may likely come to reclaim this level. That is about 1,709. It means if you are using one standard lot, you make 17,900 from this trade. If you are using zero point 0.1, you make about 1,790. 0.01 is about $179, and it makes sense. Actually makes sense. But that's TP2 though. TP1 should be three or at least two times your risk. But yeah, I think your TP1 is about almost four times your risk. TP1 is about four times your risk. So that's what we are currently looking at for me. So I would remove all this so that you can see clearly and post the chart in the group right now. I don't know if you have questions or suggestions, or you want to buttress what we've spoken about, since you can unmute your mic and speak. Good morning, sir. Okay, in the MT, for once you enter, if you enter a position now and you set your stop loss, or you are trying to set your stop loss, there's a way you can actually set your stop loss in MT4 and MT5. I don't know if you understand. Let me quickly share my screen. Just hold on. Okay, so I'll be showing you what I mean now. Just give me a moment. Let me post what we currently have for Euro USD. I've not posted that now. All right, so this is what I'm talking about. So, for instance, if I place this is sell limit, Abi. If I do an instant execution, maybe I do an instant buy. Let me just do an instant buy. This is an instant buy now, right? If I drag this thing downward, you can see it is telling me how much I'm risking. Can you see? Yes. No, this is empty. This is MT4. MT4. This is not MT5. This is MT4. You can see it is telling me how much I'm risking. You can see the price. It keeps changing as I drag. So I already know how much I will lose if price come back to this level. And it will tell me how much I will also make if price goes up to that level. No, it does. It does have it. And anytime you set it, once you take your cursor there, it will tell you how much you are risking. It will tell you how much you want to also make from that trade. So this is a life account. I just made that something thousand naira. It's a naira account actually. Wallet trade. It's a naira account. So I just so you can see that I already put my what's it called? This trade now. I already set my order. You can see how much I'm risking here. I'm risking about 53,000 naira. Let me increase it a bit, right? So that it can accommodate for maybe put it at like say 100,000. So it can accommodate for the in case there's a sweep above this side. Because there can be a sweep above this side. This high seems like a it seems like a double top actually. So there can be a sweep above this side, right? So you now pick your poison. If you say you want to wait for this side, you may never get that trade. You want to wait till price becomes even more expensive. You may never get the trade. You will just miss it. Yeah? Or you may have a better entry. So with trade is there's no 100% assurance anywhere in this market. There's no 100% assurance. So that is just that. So while we are waiting for this to play out, that might be. So this is what I needed to show you here. Think I'm done. So going forward, so what we have, if you for Euro USD, sell limits. GU still stays as it is, not changing that one. I think the next one is good. Yeah, for good. So I don't know if we have more questions before we go to our next asset. If we have more questions, or maybe we are okay with what we've spoken about so far. Good sell limits. All right, so I'm waiting for questions, suggestions, contribution. Do you have something to say? Do you have something to add? What do you think will happen? Do you think these guys will, probably reach, a deal or something? Do you think, because we've seen Iran, Oman's US close to Oman's deal. What do they all want? Do you think they will reach a deal? Do you think that this is the last update that we have? And it says that there has been an escalation in this conflict and tensions are still high. Israeli drones are flying at low altitude overhead. We hear the sound of constant artillery shelling. We are a few kilometers north of the zone. This is a report now that Israel occupies in southern Lebanon. That over 9 days attack in this town. The crater is in front of me. Used to be at home. Six people were in the home last night. Blah blah blah. So the war currently is still going on and all that. I think this says just yesterday the UN updated the number of those who have returned, saying more than 800,000 people return to US, so mainly in the south. So I think this is more of US and the likes, Lebanon and co. Now talk let's go back to US Iran war. Latest update on that should be Strait of Hormuz. Those would harm livelihood worldwide. Of course, let me see. Iran and Hamas near deal on Hormuz report. Trump denies something. Okay, so this is a more recent update, particularly on the US Iran war. Said, okay, this is still what I don't know. This is still what we read, but this has to do with Lebanon and Israel. I don't know. So basically, at the end of the day, Iranian army says it's fully prepared against threats. Spokesman Brigadier General Army Akraminia has said the army is continuously pursuing the path of increasing operational readiness by modernizing the army systems, introducing new equipment, and relying on domestic abilities. He added that so the peace is not yet strong yet. You understand? The peace is not yet strong yet. Peace not. I think price has gotten to our first price has gotten to our first where would have considered as our first entry. You understand? But we had to shift price entry up here because we believe this place holds more power. Because we are still even looking at it that price can clear this high. It's possible, right? It's possible, and who knows? After a bullish rally like this, we might not really necessarily see price drop down magically. It's possible. Why it is possible? What you might first see is like a doji indecision, right? After this bullish rally, you see a indecision to mitigate this rally, like a consolidation. If you check after every strong bullish candle, you see a doji next. You can check out everything, all the bullish candle that you see here. This is a bullish rally. This is a bullish candle. This is the next. What what comes next after is a doji. This one is a bullish, bearish engulfing. What comes next is a doji. After every strong impulse, what will mostly come next is like a doji. You understand? Most times, I'm talking about a strong impulse that is as strong as the one we had for yesterday. You see that this yesterday is an unusual candle, like we've always unlike what we've always had in the past. So if you check after strong impulse, a doji, strong impulse, a doji, strong impulse, a doji, right? Okay, but this one was different. Strong impulse, another. So you can have price consolidates, try to find, so there's no need to rush. Just wait. Understand? It's better we just wait. So somebody's trying to say something. Sorry. Okay, NZD-USD. Yeah, we spoke about NZD-USD. I remember the last time we. Let me go back. Is it NZD-USD? Sorry. Okay, no, not NZD-USD. I think AUD-NZD, something like that. NZD-USD. Okay, NZD-USD currently. Let's see. Well, come good. If you are shorting NZD-USD, I think you're on the right path. If you look at markets is being bearish. However, there's been a consolidation, market moving between here to this place without this box within this level. It goes up, come down, go up again, come down, go up, come down, and it's heading towards this point again. Now, if you say you want to check out this and use your what's it called? Diagonal resistance. Price Buys have tested this level. So it might be a kind of close, right? But if you look at this place looks like a breakout, fake breakout, and price came here. So this level might be more prominent. And if you now bring this down to this level where you have this fake breakout down, you'll be seeing so you are not on a I don't think you are making the wrong choice technically. But if you now look very well, right? I think NZD USD has a much more higher interest rate than NZD, of course. So that currency should be stronger. And if you also look, you would also NZD should be around I think 2.2 current rates for NZD, US are around 3.75 percent. NZD is around 2.2. Wait, let's quickly confirm that. Yeah, 2.5. So I'm correct. So yeah. So now if you are looking at shorting from here, For me, if I wanted to take this position, I will wait for a breakout, right? And then take a position possibly later. Um, or look for a confirmation there. Now, if I go to the smaller time frame, I've had consistent break of structure to the upside. Clearly, it is bullish on the smaller time frame. So I want to see price establish a bearish trend. Not that I want to quickly enter. If I enter quick, fine, I'll have a better entry. But having a better entry also means I'm risking a lot. It might cost me a lot because trying to get a better entry, it's like trying a blind man that is trying to, you know, cross the road. You understand? That is how it is. Trying to get a sniper entry, and that's you being predictive because we predicted now. If I say okay, let's sell now, it's like I'm being predictive because I know yeah it will go down, but I've not had a lot of you know things agree like to define this as my area, a confluence to say oh okay everything aligns, let me sell. So for this now, I would say I want price to possibly break this last swing here. So if you measure from here right down to this point here, this is not even enough to call a low per se, but I can still go with it as okay. If price is able to break below this level, I will say let me take it. But all this level, all this that you are looking at, all this is inside this impulse, this last candle. See this impulse move, right? Every other candle that comes. So we need a low below this level first and price breaking below it before we now say that okay, price has gone. But the idea that some traders might be using here to say, oh, let me short is because they believe that price has gone high. So there's no way to start coming down because price does not move in one direction. Why that is correct, it might not always be. So you can still see price after consolidating like this, you just see shoot high. It's possible. You can see price do this from here, come here, consolidate, look at this move, and just see shoot high again. It's possible. So that is why we have to be patient and wait. So currently price has given us something here and created an high, created the high. So this low is not a very strong low, but at least let me use this one. At least let me know I'm using something. Let me wait for a break below this level. And a break below this level means that my steady base order block, which is price giving buy, sell, and sell will be there'll be breakouts here, and then I can use this as my strong, much more stronger resistance to sell. So that is what I will be looking out for. But at the moment, the price is still bullish. For this, I would have said we wait, right? We wait for a sell at around here. Yeah, we wait for a sell at around there. Another thing is if you're also looking to sell from there, price can still come exactly at this 7.786. Price can still get to 786 before falling down. So it's just better that you wait for a breakout this level, then you can sell. That would be better. But if you're already in the sell, maybe you put your stop loss above this level. Or let me see how if you put your stop loss above here, that would be like 152 pips. Wow, that was high. So if you put your stop loss at this level here, that will be like 40 pips. So but just use your stop loss. So that I think that's fine. Use your stop loss above this high here, and hopefully price will break down and then keep coming to the downside. But you're actually taking the right direction because on the higher time frame holds more power. It might be bullish in the smaller time frame, but the higher time frame here it is clearly bearish, and that's where that's where there's more. That's where price has the upper hand. All right. BTC has been playing. We've not really seen um, a we had this level that pretty soon we get here, but when price broke below this level, we thought pulling back into this zone might be an opportunity for us to start selling. But as you can see, BTC is still trying to get to this level. So maybe at the end of the day, we'll have a first level, second level, and then third level in this place consolidation. So when BTC gets into this level, we'll be looking for a sell opportunity, which is much more stronger than all the sell that we are trying to get. Since because of this, and that's why you see that we don't just use one thing. When you use one thing, like okay, you just use one, but it's better you use a key level. Key level, what you are now looking for. If this happens inside this box now, it will have been much more stronger. It might have even played out more. So I think that would be that about that. Gold is still going to this area where we intend to sell from. I hope we have positioned ourselves. It is currently at the area where we wanted to sell from, and I think it has even passed that area. Let me see where we wanted to sell from. So if I sold from here, will probably be in a small loss. If I sold from here, it will probably be in a small loss. Okay, no, it hasn't gotten there. It's very close to that area, which is here. It hasn't